Am I the idiot for telling my best friend his GF is disgusting? I, female 22, have been friends with Danny, male 22, since high school, and he recently moved in with his current GF Lucy, 22F. They had a housewarming party on Friday and Lucy spent most of the night dancing with her own friends who are very like her, excitable extroverted E.G. and dragging Danny away from his conversations with us, his friends, to dance even though he's more like us, introverted not party animals. Later Danny was being quiet, so I asked if he was okay and he said just tired, but he just kept watching Lucy dancing and then said something in her ear the next time she came over and she just shook her head and laughed at him. After she went back to her friends I asked if it was bothering him how she was behaving, and he asked me to explain. I mentioned the attention-seeking dancing and the fact she was wearing something really revealing even though other guys were at this party. Danny said it didn't bother him, then sat with a moody face. At the end of the night Lucy sat down with us and started chatting non-stop about how amazing the party had been. I pointed out jokingly Danny obviously wasn't enjoying himself since he looked miserable, and Danny told her I was worried he was jealous because of her outfit. Lucy ruffled his hair, which he hates, and said he was quiet because he loved her outfit so much he couldn't wait for us all to leave so he could drag her to bed. I thought that was completely inappropriate, and said to Danny in that case I'd leave if she was just going to be disgusting, and Lucy just laughed at me, so I did leave. Today Danny has messaged me saying Lucy wants an apology before I'm allowed back at their home, but when I asked if Lucy will apologize for making me uncomfortable he said no, she doesn't have anything to be sorry about. I was genuinely only worried about my friend but admit I could have just left without calling her disgusting, so am I the idiot? ETA to clarify, I didn't say the comment about her clothes directly to Lucy. I asked Danny once then never mentioned it again. I asked him because I know in the past he's said anything overly sexual makes him uncomfortable. He's not the kind of guy who makes innuendos or anything. Also, I'm in no way jealous of Lucy. She's the opposite of how I'd want to be, which is fine, people can be who they want. And Danny and I already tried dating years ago, but the spark wasn't there, and it was uncomfortable after we tried being intimate, and we both agreed we were better as completely platonic friends now. For a few comments before the update. You're the idiot. Your friend literally told you that he wasn't bothered but you still felt offended. It's giving jealousy. And felt compelled to say something despite both of them being fine with it. And if he wasn't fine with it, it still wasn't your business, because if he wanted you to know he would have told you. You didn't jokingly point it out, you said it because you wanted how you felt to be known. Comment 2. My husband is an extrovert. I'm an introvert. We've been married 10 years. He sings karaoke. I just sit at the bar with my crochet. He chats with everyone. I don't. She was just dancing and having fun. And you slut-shamed her with that outfit comment. You didn't ask if he was uncomfortable being dragged onto the dance floor. You made it all about Lucy and her behavior. You're an idiot. BTW, he was uncomfortable because of you. You shamed his GF for nothing. Now for the update. Okay, I completely accept I was an idiot. I don't know if anyone wants an update since I seem to be Reddit's villain of the week. Before I continue with the update, I'd just like to clarify, someone DM'd me saying Danny posted an update that Lucy cheated on him. I don't know if Danny even has a Reddit, and while I haven't been able to find the post myself, I can confirm that's not true. Someone is lying to cause further issues. Anyway, I texted Danny and asked if I could sit down with him and Lucy to talk. They agreed and we met for coffee. I emphatically apologized to Lucy and then to Danny. We spoke in detail about how in the past Danny has been similar to me in his attitude towards sex/PDA etc. Not just our awkward high school fling, but every relationship he's had since, and how he used to be insecure when his ex-girlfriends did anything that made him jealous. Over the years I've become really protective of him because he got hurt a lot. Danny explained that Lucy has brought him out of his shell and he's much more outgoing now, the opposite of how our friend group has just kind of always been. But his social battery does die a lot quicker than hers, which she is understanding of. I haven't seen much of Danny since he and Lucy began dating in March last year. Not because of Lucy, but we've all been busy with college and jobs. We still text all the time, and he's the same as always in that regard. So their party was my first look at the new Danny, and I think I obviously didn't cope well with the change since I hadn't been around to see it happen gradually, so to me it seemed sudden. I worried Danny was unhappy because not long ago he would have been miserable and jealous at a party like that, and in that kind of relationship. I think throughout the night I convinced myself Lucy was hurting him and wound myself up in self-righteousness, so by the end of the night when Lucy made her comment I thought she was just trying to antagonize me and I wrongly snapped. To cut a long story short, me and Danny are fine. Danny and Lucy are fine. Me and Lucy are going to hang out to get to know each other better. She does seem really nice and I feel horrible for ending her party on such a bad note. Comment 1. You did well to meet with them. By your description of the conversation, you still came off as trying to rationalize your rudeness, but most of us do that, I suppose. You're still young. And you're in love with Danny. Things will be strained until you can see that. Then they'll be painful. Comment 2, not the idiot. It's understandable that you were concerned about your friend's well-being and wanted to express your worries. Communication is important in any friendship, and it's not wrong to express your feelings, especially if it comes from a place of genuine concern. While the choice of words might not have been the best, your intentions were in the right place. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for not wanting to help pay for my child's university fees? It's been one hell of a month, so some things I say might not make sense. I, male 40, recently found out that I have a child, who we'll call Jane, 18F. I wasn't convinced at first, but everything checked out. When she came to me, she told me that she just wanted to get to know her father. I wasn't really interested in a relationship, but felt it would be cruel and unnecessary to deny her this. We talked for a while and I didn't really say much, but it was interesting. So after we talked for a while, I asked about her mother, Grace, female 40, and she gives me her number. I really didn't want to have to call her, but I needed answers. So Grace and I decided to meet up at a local coffee shop. We had some small talk for a while before I asked her why she never told me. Silence. I asked again. Silence. I asked a third time, and she told me that she just didn't want anything to do with and wanted to get back at me. I point out that all she did was deprive the child of a father. She says she does. I asked her when she told Jane. She says at age 12. So I get confused and am wondering why she only contacts me now. So I asked her why. Grace says that she was angry that I wasn't present in her life. We talk some more about life before we say goodbye and go our separate ways. I don't ask Jane why she didn't call sooner because she was a hurting teen and that's life. So Jane and I spend the next week bonding. Then she sits down and asks to talk. I say sure and sit down. Then she goes on to explain about how difficult her life was living in a single-parent household and how money was always tight. Long story short, she asks me to pay for her university fees. Now I am well off enough to pay for it without struggle. So I asked to see her grades, and to be truly honest, it's meh. Not bad, but nothing to give a second look. I tell her that I'll think about it, and she says thank you. So here's where I might be the age. I don't want to pay for the fees because, in reality, she is just a stranger with my DNA. And I feel like Jane might just be using me. I mean, she has had 6 years to form a relationship with me and is only doing now that she needs something. I just want to wash my hands clean of her and Grace and move on with my life. I don't want Jane to think I'm her financial lifeline or anything like that. So Reddit, am I the idiot? Edit to add some stuff because of the comments. 1. I did a DNA test. It was what she wanted me to do to prove herself. 2. Child support laws are different in my country in the sense that A. You can't claim unclaimed child support if you had the option to claim it. B. Child support can't be settled after 18 unless the father knowingly disappeared, and that would take months to process, let alone prove. 3. Jane had the ability to contact me. I don't know how much influence her mother had on her choice, but I do know that I was a dial away. 4. I was never mad at Jane for not contacting me. I knew that she was a hurting teen who doesn't know her father and could be scared to do so. I was confused at the moment. Now for a few comments before the update. No idiots here. She is a kid who just met her dad. University is the biggest thing on her mind, and she says that dad has funds, so why not ask? I wouldn't if I was her, but I get it. And you're not the A for thinking, this is weird. If it was a year or two from now after y'all have caught up and formed a bond. It also sucks as you didn't get a shot but may have just gained a daughter. If it was me, I would have said let's reset and not have this conversation now as we are strangers. Let's become familiar and we can talk way down the road on this topic. Comment 2, not the idiot. And you are totally right, this is not about a relationship with you, but with your money. Now for the update. So over the past few days I've been taking a bit of time to myself to think about the situation. I realized that I would lose nothing by helping Jane, and it would be more of an investment than anything. I also realized that I got too stuck on the principle of the matter and whether or not Jane's intentions were purely for the relationship, when in reality I wasn't really a person who was yearning for that relationship, something that a lot of people in the comments noticed. 2 days later I called Jane and asked to meet at noon. She said yes. When we meet I put it to her straight. I told her I would pay for only if her grades would improve. I don't expect her to be top of the class, but they should be on an upwards trajectory. The next thing I told her was that she has the choice to have a relationship or not. I told her that I was helping her so that she would have the best chance to succeed in life, and so that she would not blame me if she ever failed in life. It ultimately doesn't change much in my life if I do or don't have the relationship. She didn't say if she did or didn't want to have a relationship. So I feel quite satisfied and happy with the outcome of the situation. I think it's a win-win situation for both sides. Thank you for the advice. Comment 1. It annoys me that you have been a parent for like 5 minutes and are already obsessed with grades. Plenty of people get into university on A, B and some C's, graduate with a lower or upper second and go on to have great careers, And guess what, they aren't miserable all through school and uni trying to force their grades up under threat of financial retaliation from their parents. Comment 2. That's great you have decided to help Jane. Because I honestly thought. You're the idiot. Jane didn't ask to be born, and Grace didn't make her by herself. Even if Grace didn't tell you, she still didn't make her by herself. On top of that, Jane grew up without any support, financial or emotional, from you. Just because she is 18 and child support laws are different in your country doesn't mean you don't have any obligations or responsibilities. She probably grew up without, well, you were pretty well off, and just because she is a stranger means nothing. She is still your daughter that you made. You didn't contribute to her upbringing, then put the burden of no contact on a teenager. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for not letting anyone share my table at the park? I work in a large city. When it's nice out, I usually like to eat lunch at a park near my office. It is a decent-sized park with an ample amount of tables that anyone can use. On one particular lunch break, it was very nice out and the park was particularly crowded. I had to circle the park for a while before finding a free table. I sat and started to eat my lunch. My lunch spread and my handbag took up the majority of the table. A few minutes went by and a woman approached me, asking if she could sit. I said she could take a chair. It turned out I'd misunderstood her, and she wanted to share the table. I was taken aback, since of all the lunch breaks I spent sitting by myself in this park, this was the first time I'd ever been asked to share a table. The table, like the majority of tables around the park, was small, only around 2 feet across. One would see 2 to 3 friends/coworkers share tables, but there wasn't much personal space, and I really didn't want to share with a stranger. I apologized and said I really preferred to eat alone. She looked dejected and left. Only a few minutes later, a man approached me, asking to share the table. I said sorry, I wanted to eat alone. He proceeded to put his belongings down anyway, saying that his asking was only a courtesy and he couldn't believe I actually said no. I was pissed and I told him that he could do what I did and circle park till a table opened up. He called me a B***ch and went off on me saying he just needed the table for a minute to fix his belongings. I went silent, wanting this interaction to end. He ended up apologizing to me, and I said sorry as well, just to get him to leave me alone. Am I the idiot for not wanting to share my table with strangers? I'd always share a table at a cafe with only a few tables, or if the tables were large, but in this situation I think I'm entitled to my personal space. This park has approximately 100 tables, one was bound to free up for them. If not, there are more tables a few blocks over. There's no updates, so here's the comments. Not the idiot. There's seating etiquette in public spaces that seems to be common enough. Benches you share. Tables, regardless of size, are basically first come, first take. Certainly there's nothing wrong with asking someone to share, but there's nothing wrong with them saying no. Comment 2. You're the idiot. Public park means anyone can sit next to you, opposite you. If you want to be alone, find a chair or sit on the grass.